In this video, I'll show you the amazing lifestyle you can have doing computer-aided design. This is Colin Foster's dog, his backyard. This is Colin with the Hawaiian shirt. What else? Working on CAD, one of his projects, and the beautiful Arizona sunset in the background. Now this is all real life, not clickbait, and I want to show you how you can achieve this lifestyle by Colin sharing how he made it with us. Stay tuned. Welcome everyone to another episode of Mechanisms and Mentorship with your host, Rafael Testai, and my guest, Colin Foster. Now, Colin has already done one episode with us. We brought him back. In the first episode, that you'll see a link in the comment below, he actually talks about all his competencies and capabilities and projects that he has worked on in aerospace and different industries. Very capable person with a company that he owns called Solid Design and Detail, right here. And now, in this video, we want to talk about his story, his background. How did he get to where he's at, a business owner? We want to talk about his lifestyle that he uses CAD SolidWorks, and if some of you may relate. So let's start out with, everyone should be aware of this book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. You'll see a link in the comments below. The book basically talks to you about how to optimize your time, and how to delegate, and how to create freedom for yourself. So one of my favorite things about working on CAD and SolidWorks and mechanical design engineering is that a lot of times you can work remotely. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your current lifestyle? Maybe you have some photos of you working by the pool, you have the laptop out, and how did you get to that lifestyle?
Thank you for having me, Raph. So 4-Hour Workweek is one of my favorite books of all time. It's definitely an annual read. It's not about working 4 hours a week, by the way.
We work a lot more than that.
It's like 80 hours a week, but how to do it really effectively. Yeah, I mean, I always thought as an employee that there's so much wasted time in driving, water cooler talk, frivolous meetings, and think about all the hours on the weekend at night that you're missing out on. So I think the remote work really works better for what we do. I mean, I just have so many more hours available to me. To work an 80-hour week when you have to be in the office is virtually impossible. But it's simple when, we have nothing going on at night and the wife wants to throw a movie on. I can pull my laptop out and get a couple hours out, and it's anytime. If there's a deadline, I can work overnight if I need to get it done. And with an office environment, it's hard to do that.
Absolutely. That's personally one of the reasons why I like working here at Pipeline Design and Engineering, located in Tempe, Arizona. There's a lot of flexibility from working remotely. And Colin, maybe he's going to show us maybe a couple slideshow of the real life. He is by the pool with his laptop out, working on SolidWorks and making really good money. That we'll talk about that later. Some of his dog.
There's Daisy. And that's Duke, our new puppy. He's like 3 months old now, losing his puppy teeth, biting everything.
It's the life. I think it's the life that somebody wants to strive for, right?
I like it, yeah. I do miss the camaraderie of going into the office, though. And the only thing starting out, you almost have to work a couple of years, for a shop on the site, because there's so much knowledge to be gained in the shop itself and learning how things are built and all that. And there's only so much you can bridge that gap without just being there.
But once you get to that point that you can kind of branch out a little bit more and work remotely. Okay. Tell us your story of how did this whole SolidWorks passion start out? From way back, go all the way back. Yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, as a kid, I played with Legos, I played video games, I drew, and that's all just, goes right into it. When I was 14, my aunt got me my first drafting kit. She had went to a drafting school and got her drafting degree, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. She could get paid for drawing. Like, who would have thought? And that was back before all the computers and stuff, and so. I mean, that was almost 25 years ago now. But yeah, she got me my first drafting kit, and I fell in love with it. I mean, I like drawing, but I'm not very good at like imaginative drawing, right? Like comic book characters and stuff like that. But if somebody wants like a perfectly drawn house, I was good at that. or like duplicating a photo. I could do that. And so being able to draw with like a slide rule and like, perfect radiuses and stuff like that, like I geeked out on that. And then I got into high school, and freshman year I started taking drafting classes, and I took drafting classes or engineering or architecture classes every quarter of high school. And I just always kind of knew that that was what I wanted to do. I went into college afterwards. I started community college, got tired of being broke, took an opportunity to go up to Alaska and go crab fishing for a winter, and decided if that's how you have to make money without an education or some kind of degree, like certificate or something, then it wasn't going to work for me. So I got back, immediately. I went and enrolled for just a drafting certificate, no engineering degree or anything like that. I needed to get to work so that I could start making money. I was just sick of being a broke college student.
How old were you at that time?
I would have been like 21 when I got back.
So you went crab fishing, like Deadliest Catch, basically?
Yeah, it was the first season of Deadliest Catch, actually. There was like little boats running around, and I didn't know nobody knew what they were at the time, but it turned out it was Discovery Channel.
Wow, look at this. Okay, so you tell yourself, you know what, this is way too dangerous. I need to get a degree to start making some good money. Mm-hmm. You always liked drafting, so you went back to that.
Yeah.
How that degree turn out?
Good. I mean, I don't know if it was necessarily required, but it helped me to get my foot in the door, and really that's all you need. Once you're in and you can start to prove yourself, I feel like there's a lot more to be learned on the job than the school I went to. But yeah, so I got a 2-year drafting degree, and then got to work, and here we are.
And people that are really committed, once they get their degree and they get their foot in the door in the industry, how much can you expect to make with a 2-year drafting degree if you really know drafting well?
I mean, starting out, it's just like anything. You're not going to make a ton of money, but just like anything else, if you're dedicated to it, you love it, and you're just looking to provide value all the time, you can always, I feel like 6 figures in 5 years is attainable.
So you could be making $100,000 in 5 years if you're really committed with a 2-year degree, with a drafting degree, starting out. What are some traits that make people? It seems like such an obvious question, right? But what are traits that make them committed? What do they have to do?
You gotta love it. I've known since I was a kid, either consciously or subconsciously, that's always what I wanted to do. I'm playing professional Minecraft and getting paid for it. It's awesome. And there's so many other people that I know that would do great at it if they had known it was even a career. A lot of the times I'm explaining things to people, what I do, and they have no idea that my job's even a job. They're like, "Whoa, wow, that's cool. I would have never thought of that." And it's like a lot of my friends, like, they'd be great at it if they would have just known that it was a thing, there was a possibility.
That I remember when I first met Colin months ago, he shared that with me. What is this job that most people don't know about that exists? Drafting, CAD, 3D, SolidWorks.
Yeah. I feel like anybody that's into like video games would just love SolidWorks, because it's basically the same thing, but it's like a very powerful video game, and you can create your own things, and I just love it.
So in the company that Colin owns right now, which is right here, link in the comments below, he's had projects through the business from every company that he has worked at as an employee in the past. Is that right?
Yep.
And that ties into the advice that Colin gave us in the first video, link below, in which he said towards the end that you never want to burn a bridge. Always leave it open. You never know. Continue to provide value and be good to people.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us more about how do you do that? Like, how do you keep in touch and keep the door open so maybe those relationships lead to something else in the future?
Thank you. I think it's important to, check in with people, get feedback on how you've done, and things that you can improve on. Nobody's perfect, and everybody has areas that they can improve, and being humble enough to admit that and do better is very good. People like you more when you do that. But yeah, other than that, it's just do anything to get the job done, and then ask questions later. If you're in the heat of a moment, you got a deadline, that's not the time to raise a fuss and complain. It's the time to put your head down and get to work and get it done. And then, after the job's done, we can reassess what we can do better. But just be the greased wheel.
So now let's talk about Colin's company, Solid Design and Detail. And I want to know, where are you at now in the business? How many years have you been in business?
We just celebrated 6 years, going on 7. It's been a ride. I never owned a business before, so there's a lot to learn. Some of the most frustrating parts can be when you just want to work on projects and you got to handle everything else, taxes and billing and insurance and business licenses and payroll, and there's just so much more to it. But at the end of the day, I just want to be working in SolidWorks and providing value and getting work done.
You just mentioned the things that you really don't enjoy doing the most. You like to just geek out on SolidWorks and get stuff done. So it seems like that's the thing that you dislike the most about running the company. Can that be outsourced?
Yeah. And Tim Ferriss told us to.
4-hour work week, as we showed you before in the video, in the book. But how do you need a lot of trust to outsource that?
Yeah, and good resources. Like, I outsource all my bookkeeping, and my CPA handles my taxes, and I do it to the most I can, but you still have to serve those people. And I guess that's what I need to outsource, is the assistant. I need an assistant that will send all of my employee hours out and will tell the insurance company what coverages I need, and send my expenses to my CPA, and maybe that would help. But right now I still have to do all that stuff.
So right now it sounds like Colin is at a growing stage in his company, and you're only looking for an assistant, but also to grow your team of designers in the future, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just hired our first employee. He went through the Go Engineer SolidWorks training, which I highly recommend. He's probably almost as good as I am now after 6 months.
So Go Engineer, we'll show the link in the description below. They provide SolidWorks training, and you're pretty happy about it?
Yeah, I couldn't say enough good things, and they didn't pay me to say that.
He's so funny. All right. So what is it about the Go Engineer training that you like so much?
They're very good at covering all the topics. I'm hiring a guy right now that didn't have experience in SolidWorks at all before I hired him. Super smart guy, but didn't know the software. And that was 6 months ago that he started taking the software, or started taking their classes. And now he's teaching me about weldments and stuff like that, So I'm actually in the process of changing how we do things as a company based off of somebody that's never used SolidWorks after 6 months of Go Engineers classes. And I've been working in SolidWorks since 2006, and I didn't think to make these changes.
Pretty good. So no one paid us to say that. That's honestly how he feels about the Go Engineer training on SolidWorks. From people in the audience, how have you gotten your SolidWorks training, and are you happy about that? Just please leave in the comments below and tag me, Rafael Testai. Let's talk on LinkedIn. What's your biggest struggle, in addition to what you mentioned, about owning a business in this industry that you're in? So tell us about the hiring. Like, how easy is it hard to find talent in this industry?
It is. There's a shortage. There's not necessarily a shortage of engineers, but as far as drafters, modelers, and detailers, there's definitely a shortage, especially on the detailing side. A lot of the people that do steel detailing are retired now. I mean, or getting out of it. I'm probably one of the younger people I know that does it. And yeah, I mean, that's not something that's going to go away. There's going to be a huge demand for it.
That's something also for the audience to take note of. My goal to hosting the podcast, to the episode here, is to provide value to the audience and make you aware that there's a niche market now of detailers and drafters, that supply and demand people. Like, if there's a lot of demand for this, it means you can probably make a lot of money, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everyone kind of skipped over the drafting and the detailing part and went straight for engineering because it's sexier. Right? And it is, but we need both.
Exactly. All right. Well, if you're considering that avenue or that route, what should your first step be to become a drafter or a detailer?
Get in contact with like a fabrication shop and see what they, if they need anybody. First of all, you might get free training that way if you seem eager and you want to show up. I'm sure someone might take you under their wing. If that doesn't work, I would go engineer, take some classes, learn the software, and then AISC, the American Institute of Steel Construction, has free steel detailing classes on their website. So if you combine the Go Engineer classes with AISC's free training, I mean, you're there. I mean, that's anything that I would have learned at school.
So if someone does what you just advised and they actually do get the training, should they reach out to you to just let you know that they exist?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'd love to talk to you.
Wonderful. Well, look, we're lining you up with opportunities. We're telling you where to get the training. All right, great. Hopefully this impacts the world in a positive way, this episode we're making now. How did you progressively get better through the years at your craft?
Oh, man. Just waking up every day wanting to learn something new, right? I want to get better. I want to sharpen my sword. I want to get better with the tools that I have. There's so much in SolidWorks, as anybody that's used it knows. It's overwhelming almost how much stuff you can do in there. And, just learning each tool, something about each tool each day or week or whatever, compounds on each other, and you just become a much more powerful user from that.
Do you have any advice for maybe high school or early college students that are still not sure what they want to do with the rest of their lives, and what would you recommend that they try at least to see if they like?
Just take some STEM classes. Just give it a chance. Just take one. Just use one elective to go take whatever the CAD design class that your school's offering, and just see if you like it. I have a feeling a lot of people will that wouldn't think otherwise. You think of engineers and you think of pocket protectors and uptight, and it's not like that at all. It's so cool to work in this industry, and I can't say enough good things about it. I absolutely love what I do.
Colin and I had a conversation off camera, but I want to share with the audience. And you were saying that everything that you look around you has a drawing associated with it. Is that right?
Every single thing. A paperclip has a drawing for it, and someone needs to make that drawing.
And to provide context, what we mean by that is that it had to be manufactured. So in order to manufacture, you need a drawing to send to the manufacturing facility, right? Yeah. So I think that's pretty mind-bending. Is there any last words that you may have, anything that I may have forgotten to ask you that I should have asked you?
I think you covered everything.
All right, perfect. Well, how can people find you?
On Instagram, King of CAD, King_of_CAD. Email colin.foster@soliddesignanddetail, or just get a hold of Raf.
Or also his LinkedIn profile, which I'll link below.
Oh, yeah.
Look at us, LinkedIn. This new young generation, we're just giving out our Instagram accounts now. Although I do think that the CAD audience more lives in LinkedIn. I found that a lot more success on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. Likewise.